The next question comes via Skype. It's from Gabrielle Casey in Greystanes in New South Wales. Go ahead, Gabrielle.
Tony. Thanks. My question's to Catherine and also to the whole panel. But so one thing I've noticed is that the topic of human dignity seems to be one that the whole panel agrees on. That people, whether in groups or in as individuals, we have dignity. My question is, do you believe in God? Because as a Catholic especially, I don't see any other way where we can have a universal dignity beyond there being a God who's created us.
Catherine, and Jordan, I think, but the rest of the panel too.
Look, this is a huge topic, and I'm not going to duck it. I believe in God. My belief has deepened even through my gender transition. I was talking to Jordan about his primary academic interest. I drank way too much. I only died from the disease of alcoholism. I was raised a Catholic. I still have enormous fondness for Catholicism, especially its rituals. In the lead up to what happened in my life and the gender transition and feelings coming to the fore that I had wrestled with and dealt with in maladroit ways right up to the age of 56, I went through a number of stages. I was a militant atheist. I went into quite exotic left-wing politics as a young person. That might seem rather strange to people now, but I was on the committee for the acquittal of Alistair Dunn and Anderson, the East Timor Solidarity Group. Name it, I was in it. And didn't ever get around to the revolution. But I do believe, and I base that on experience, in the sense that there was I can only describe as phenomenon in response to a very desperate prayer when I was dying in delirium tremens, and I've not had a drink since the day that I uttered that prayer. I then became more devout and went back into more organised religion. Clearly what has happened, what I've done, and I won't use passive voice, what I have done has placed me outside organised religion. I've been welcome in some Anglican communities, and I go there because I like the ritual.
Nearly out of time, Catherine, right. I'm sorry to say.
But without beating my breast in the public square, I pray daily. I pray in the morning on awakening. I pray at intervals throughout the day. And I try to meditate, I try to centre myself, and I try to pray. I don't pray for specific outcomes. I'll close this because it is a worthwhile story. A former Test cricket captain of Australia, a beautiful man with whom I shared a platform ahead of a match, a guy called Brian Booth, who's in his 80s, very devout Pentecostal from the Shire, down where the Prime Minister operates. Brian reached out to me through cricket. I'd offered to step aside from a panel, given his age, and that I didn't want it to be confronted. You know, the guy's a Test cricket captain, he's entitled to be the speaker without the distraction, and he embraced me and said, we're all broken, we're all sinners. He and I read Psalms to one another in a phone call on Saturday, a very moving moment, bringing together two defining elements of my life, and one is a belief, and it's not an unreasonable belief. I act as if I don't proselytise about it. I don't run around with a sandwich board telling people to repent. But it's the foundation of my existence, frankly.
Thanks, Catherine. Madam, because I only learned today that you're a Christian.
I am. I'm very devout.
Christian and a Marxist.
Yes, both at the same time. In the great Western tradition of being able to hold two positions at once.
Completely.
You know, the foundational approach of Marxism is the concept of the dialectic, that we have thesis, antithesis and synthesis. So I found that my Catholicism and my Marxism is an excellent tension to come to a moral decision and to think about how to live a good life.
And do you believe in God? That was the literal question. I
absolutely believe in God, and my faith sustains me through darkness. My faith gives me meaning, and I draw succour from my faith community and meaning. And these positions are not irreconcilable. I get very worried about this, clash of civilizations thesis that, the idea, for example, that feminists must be this and communists must be this and socialists are evil, and this polarity. We are all simultaneous identities. We all contain multitudes. And my belief in God is absolutely integral to my commitment to socialism and my sense of serving good works and the social justice mission of the Catholic Church.
Well, thanks for a lesson on simultaneous identity politics. Alec, what do you think?
Well, look, I believe in God. I'm a Protestant by tradition, and I've married a Catholic, so all my children are being baptised Catholics, and my protesting has failed in one sense. Look, I'm not sure you can be a Christian and a Marxist together. Look, and I say that
then
because
I cease to exist.
They're mutually exclusive. They're mutually exclusive. But the point I want to make, a broader point about the West. The West, one of the great successes of the West was that we separated the church and the state, and religion is a private matter, and it's a matter for individuals, and it's a matter for how individuals want to choose to practice their religious faith, and we separate it from the operation of the state. That is a new concept in human history. It's been very successful, and I think, when you look at societies that still have religion and the state intertwined, they're not successful. They are wholly separate things.
Terry.
Well, I'm agnostic. It's a matter... My husband makes fun of me about it, actually, because he's like, well, why are you having a bet both ways? You're not going to get into heaven that way. But I've always been agnostic. I've always identified that way. But to the questioner's point about can you believe in the inherent dignity of human beings if you don't believe in God, you absolutely can. And there's a great secular humanist tradition that says that people are inherently valuable because they are people. And that you can do the right thing because it is your moral duty to do the right thing without that moral duty being conferred upon humanity by a God. And I want to do the right thing because I believe that every person is as valuable as me and that they deserve that I treat them well, and that it is my duty as a human to other humans to seek to meet that moral standard.
Jordan, I've actually heard you ask this question a number of times, and I don't think I've ever heard you give a definitive answer.
Yeah, I don't like the question.
Yeah. How come?
Well, I don't know exactly. I think part of it
is it too personal?
Yeah, I think it's private. There's a statement in the Old Testament about the what would you call it? Immorality of praying in public, let's say, to make known your good works, your faith, because of the benefits that might confer upon you that have absolutely nothing to do with the moral actions that might allow you to truly deserve them. I mean, I think of religious matters a lot. I would consider myself a deeply religious person. I would say, and I have said this before, that I act as if God exists and that I'm terrified that he might. But I don't consider myself an authority on metaphysical issues, and I don't believe that my belief in God is... It's not something that seems to me to be fit for... There's something wrong that I can't put my finger on triumphantly declaiming my belief in one manner or another. And so it's something that I prefer to leave in the manner that I've left it. So I act as if God exists. I try to do my best as a person who's obsessed with religious matters. But I'm not willing to place myself conveniently in a box. And so I'm going to leave it at that.
Fair enough.